You're listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am Said Jerk. What's up? How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's well. I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Whoop. Excuse me again. Little table. I always forget to move it before. My setting up for my podcast is a lot more elaborate than it used to be. It used to be pretty basic and simple. Now I got a different camera and all this stuff. It's like it's more work, man. You know me, I'm lazy. But that just shows how much I love you, my viewer. Okay. Let's see. So I got a list of stuff. I'm hoping to get through all of it. Let's see what's going on. Formula One races have started. Well, they started a week ago. I am somewhat new to Formula One. Again, I'm not like a freak where I gotta, I keep tabs and I like to watch it when I can. It's just that the races, because they're all over the country, they end up starting at different times. So like it was actually a good time for me, the first one, because it was in Australia, which isn't close to where I live. So I remember it was already over before. I was like, what the crap, man? So I miss the races a lot because they either start too late or too early. When I first started watching them, they seemed to all kind of come on about the same time for a while. Maybe it just was where they were at or something. It was just kind of a coincidence or whatever. But yeah, whenever it's, I go to bed, like I'm asleep by 10 o'clock at night. Like I'm in bed I'm in bed by 8 o'clock for sure. In bed, like on my phone, chilling, falling asleep between 9 and 10 o'clock. Because I get up at 5 every day. Not every day, but most every day. So, yeah, I'm not going to stay up late and watch it as much as I enjoy it, So I end up just watching the highlights on YouTube or whatever. But it's kind of crazy when you think about like how different Formula One has from not really, I guess that's kind of a long time ago, right? What, 30 years? Doesn't seem like that long ago. But, they used to have to shift and they used to have to actually drive, and now it's all like a computer, freaking PlayStation controller, steering wheel, and all that stuff, which is kind of cool, but old school is just cooler, man. Shifting and everything, and the way they had to drive, and you really had to know how to drive. And what's funny is like, just because you're a good driver doesn't mean you're going to win. There's a there's a lot of not tactics. What am I trying to think or say? Nothing. But there's a lot of nuances, or it is tactics, I guess, but there's another word I'm trying to think of when it comes to racing, because depending on what tires you use, when you put them on, all that kind of stuff, and when you pit, how fast you're able to get out of the pit. And then it used to be like fuel too. Some people would start with like, you have to make a pit. Well, now you have to make a pit, because they could race without even making a pit stop, really, if they wanted to, depending on if they pick the right tire. You know what I mean? Like, depending on the race. I mean, I think it'd be kind of rare, but it's possible due to the fact that they don't have to refuel and stuff. So it's mandatory. You have to pit once and then, change tires usually. So there's still a little bit of, God, what is the word I'm trying to think of? But so back in the day, some people might start with like less gas because their car is lighter, or, and they can refuel later at their pit stop, and then you can, the different tires. There's strategy. There we go. So there is a strategy to it, and that can make a huge difference in the races, right? So again, it's not as much as it used to be, but it's still there. And it kind of seems that way with American politics, probably other countries too. And what I mean by that is, I think they should get rid of midterm. I think elections should all be held at the same time, same year, everything. Because politics is kind of like a Formula One race. You know, things that are happening, or the powers that be, you know, try and push or cover up or do whatever right now because they know in the midterms it's going to make a difference. It may not make a difference now, but it will. And the thing is because people have such short attention spans. You know what I mean? People have such a hard time seeing the bigger picture. And what I mean by that is because you look at what's going on with Trump, okay? You know, the embargoes, all the things that he's doing, he's implementing, and the stuff he's going through right now, I think he's kicking ass, but as a country, we're not benefiting from it quite yet. We will, but the problem is, by the time we start benefiting from it, there's going to be a bunch of Democrats in office because of the midterms, because people are like, oh, gas is still high, or whatever. You know what I mean? The only way to really have a platform, put that platform into practice and see the results, it has to be that, I mean, even 4 years is kind of not too long, but it should be the 4 years. So what I'm saying is, like, you see how the country is, or you see, regardless of what's going on, you just, as a voter, you see what's going on in the country and the things you like, the things you don't like. And then you have the politicians and their platforms and the things they're going to do and the things they don't want to do and whatever, right? And based on that, you vote. You should wait till the 4 years is up to see if your vote and your politician was able to succeed in what they were talking about. And if not, you vote the other way, or you vote for a different person. You know what I mean? Because the thing is like, a lot of the things that Trump is doing right now is not going to be beneficial until after the midterms that are coming up. You know what I mean? So right now, you know, because of what's going on with Iran and whatever, so gas prices are up. Inflation is still up, but it's plateaued. It's not rising like it was under Biden. But it's getting better. It's a slow process. Very short process or time span to destroy the economy as opposed to fixing it. But people don't think like that. People forget about that. They only see what's around them. They don't see the big picture. So they're like, what the heck, man? I'm going to vote for a bunch of Democrats now because nothing's going right. But it's like, okay. And then things will start going right. And then they think like, oh, look, see, the Democrats are making it better. But it's like, no, these are the policies that the Republicans started 4 years ago. Not anything that Democrats started 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the midterms plays heavily on the short-sightedness and the goldfish memory of the American voter, you know? I mean, I think more people are kind of starting to catch on and wake up to it, but not enough, not quick enough. You know? I don't know, it's just kind of crazy. But it's just like, that's why it's almost, you know, our democracy that the libtards are always crying about is like, it's put in so there's always, because I honestly believe if there was no midterms and it was just every 4 years you voted in something, the Democrats would have ceased to existed decades ago. The only reason they're still around is because of like midterms. You know, you put in, you know, the right people and things are, you know, being done, and oh, look it, you just see, it's just, people are so easily manipulated. And it's just annoying as hell. Let's see, there was a story, I guess a while ago, but like a Walmart employee was baked to death, supposedly, right? So there's these big ovens, like walk-in ovens that Walmart has for, I guess, primarily reheating or heating up frozen bread so they can, display it in the bread area, right? And this happened a while ago. I want to say a couple of years ago, but so a mother found her daughter inside the oven, liquefied, basically, like an episode of Bones, which is almost impossible because, like, if she wanted to kill herself, turn on the oven. As soon as you open the door, the oven shuts off. So I don't know if maybe, like, if you can just stick your arm out and turn it on. Like, I don't know what the protocols are exactly, but supposedly it's like as soon as you open the door, it shuts it off. So there's lots of safety measures in place. So it looks like common sense. Somebody knocked her unconscious, stuck her in there, or killed her beforehand, whatever, put her in there, turned it on, and killed her, right? The thing is like nothing really. They were like, yeah, she killed herself. It was in Canada. I guess police there just don't really care. They don't want to make a ruckus. Some Muslim, I guess she was Muslim, and I don't know, just kind of stupid shit. But it's like, how, it kind of reminds me of here though, when there are people here that get shot, and like reporters, they report on it the day of, and then nothing. You never see any kind of follow up, you don't see a reporter asking, hey, whatever happened to so and so, what? They don't care. They just don't care. It's kind of sad, really. Let's see. And then another thing is like, so Iran, you have all these liberal idiots, Iranian people, or like crying about what's going on. And it's like, when you see things like the Iran government having complete blackout on their internet, so people can't use the internet, so people can't get on there and post what's really going on. They can't, do TikTok and like, this is what's going on. You have no idea. And when Starlink is being in the little hubs or whatever you call them, the terminals for Starlink are being distributed for people, and the government is going and collecting those. But Trump's the dictator. You know what I mean? It's like, God, liberals are so stupid. That's why I should name my podcast on. Liberals are stupid. Let's see. Oscars. Did I talk about the Oscars? Happened, right? Same BS. It's all dog shit. Viewership is down. They're all a bunch of fucking horrible, garbage, demon human beings, if you can call them that. There's no such thing as a demon human being, I guess. Demons. They're all trash. But I do feel bad for an actual decent person who's an actor, especially a young actor who's trying to, like, I don't know who won, but whoever won Oscars, it's a big night for them. But it's like, but nobody really cares. Winning an Oscar doesn't mean shit like it used to. You know what I mean? It's only the little inner Hollywood circle jerk. I'll suck your dick, you eat my asshole. Oh, he's so great and you're so brave. They're the only ones. It's like back in the day, you won an Oscar and it was like, dude, it meant something. Now it don't mean shit. So I kind of feel bad for the people trying to make a career for themselves, and it's been ruined, I mean, who ruined it? I mean, a lot of the actors now that just, I guess kind of like, yeah, the popular actors. So if you came to prominence in the early 2000s, you're basically a shit fucking douchebag actor, because they're all like, ooh, Palestine, and I don't know, most of them anyway. Antifa is real, by the way. There's a bunch of news media, the left wing, like trying to be all, oh, what? Antifa? That's a myth. What? Huh? What are you talking about? That doesn't even exist. It's made up. But then you have people claim to be Antifa, attacking ICE, doing this, and now they're all going to prison But yeah, it's a myth. Dude, how I just don't understand how left-wing media can get away with lying so much. It's insane. Let's see. Another trans individual who was male pretending to be female got busted having sex with a 6-month-old. That shit happens a lot, you know? And like I said, I know a trans individual. I don't know them like, you know, on a personal level because I only see this person maybe once a year, if that. But I've, talked with the individual. They are nice and, I'm not like, you're going to hell or, nothing like that. But I don't, I'm not against it with this person, but I don't support it either. I don't know. But, I don't get on Facebook and like, I'll post some stuff. I think I'm done with Facebook though, actually. I don't mean to caveat in such a horrible way, but like, I don't know, since I've removed myself from doing political stuff on Facebook, and then I'll get on occasionally and scroll through, and I don't see nothing from anybody. It's like, I think more than just me is, excuse me, limiting their Facebook interaction because of Lent. I don't know, but it's like all I do is see just advertisements and like movie promotion and all, so it's like I'm just getting on less and less. But anyway, so yeah, so another, and that's the thing is like, are there people with gender dysphoria? I can't say it. Dysphoria, is that it? Yes, I do believe that, but the amount of people that have legitimate that problem is way, way less than the actual amount of people who are claiming to be trans. And that is even still a very low number, but most of them are just psychos that get off on this crap, that get off on jerking off in the female bathroom or whatever it is, So now you got this douchebag having sex with a 6-month-old, and that's the majority of the trans community. I'm sorry, but it is. And, because most of them are not really, I don't know, it's retarded. The world is becoming retarded. Let's see. In, I think, Oklahoma, I want to say, or somewhere like that. So check this out. So an Iraqi individual, and I say Iraqi because he was born and raised in Iraq, has became a natural citizen in the States, and he became a citizen during the Biden administration. Just want to point that out. Shows up to elementary school, dressed in like tactical gear, armed with a weapon, asks about security, and then when people he like gets inside because he piggybacks off of somebody going in, asks about security. People are like, what are you doing? No, there's no, obviously they're like, this is weird, and he takes off, right? Goes home, gets arrested. Judge gives him bail. He gets bailed out, and he has like an ankle monitor. So he didn't stay in jail. He was released on bail, and he's got an ankle monitor. Does that sound appropriate? Does that sound like the right kind of punishment for what happened? Now, one of two things I think happened. One, the person's mental, like they say, or somebody said, or some stupid liberal probably was like, well, he's looking for a job, he's security. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not how you go about doing it. So if he was in fact trying to, he didn't have an application, he didn't have, there's things, you don't just show up. This ain't the 50s where you can just show up somebody and be like, hey man, I see the help wanted sign. I'm, they have recruiter, what is that called? Something recruiter.com, rabbit recruiter, I don't know. But So one of two things is true. The guy's mental and can't comprehend how to live in society and should be in an asylum probably, or deported at the very least, even though he's a naturalized citizen. Or he's looking to shoot up a school. So if he's actually looking to shoot up a school or he's crazy, that ankle monitor ain't gonna do shit. If he wants to shoot that school, he's gonna cut them, which he's like blocks from, like he lives close to the school. Cut that off, go there, shoot a bunch of people, end his life, and he did what he wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, how does the judges, the amount of liberal judges in the country is just horrendous, and it's one of the big problems with the violence and all the crap going on in America right now. And I think if you became a citizen and then within a certain amount of time, maybe like 5 years or something, and you break a law, that's kind of like not a parking ticket or not whatever, but it's kind of a, you know, violent kind of whatever. You need to lose that citizenship and get the fuck out. That's what I think. If you can't be, you know what I mean? Like, you should have to, there should be a probation once you get your citizenship of like 10 years or something. If you can't conform to American society, which what is that anymore? You know, I don't know, but you should get it revoked. Saw a video of a trans lawyer. So this was a woman who was, you know, parading as a man. Actually looked like a dude. I've seen the video and pictures. Didn't sound like a dude, but looked like one. But was arguing in court, and then when things weren't going her way, started being the typical trans freak out douche. And then when they were held in contempt, starts like fighting with the cops and, what are you doing? Leave me alone. That hurts. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Like all the normal shit. And you're just like, what the fuck, dude? These people have mental problems, man. I don't understand. I don't know. It's like, so you have somebody who, this is probably, so this person was a lawyer, was a female, felt like they, instead of looking inward and thinking like, maybe I suck as a lawyer, they're like, if I was a man, I would be so much more successful. And so they get that in their head, and then like, so they become a man, and then, you know, and then when shit doesn't work out right, they flip out. You know what I mean? It's the, like, they're expecting, you know, the whole, it's the whole grass is greener on the other side mentality. It's just mental problems, man. Country is filled with mental instability. And I don't know, it's just, oh man. And it's like, you can either, I don't know, what are you going to do? You can not pay attention to all this crap I'm talking to. Would I be better off not knowing any of this crap that I've just been talking about? Probably. But then, I don't know, man, because like I didn't care about this stuff before, but I didn't vote. You know what I mean? I didn't care about politics. I didn't really follow it. The first time I really noticed politics, well, I mean, I remember Clinton playing the saxophone during his thing or something when I was a kid. And then I remember the Florida, you know, the counting of the ballots or something in Florida between Gore and Bush. I remember that going on. I didn't vote then. I could have. I was an adult, but like I just didn't really follow. And then once I was in the army, I was moving around. I was just like, okay, I'm just, you know, whatever. I mean, you know, it was Bush the whole time I was in the army. So, and then I don't know. Yeah, then Obama. But then it wasn't until Trump is when I voted, and that's when I really started paying attention. Is when I voted, you know. And so it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. And last but not least, some new evidence from the Veritas guy. I don't know his name. Guy started a Veritas something, and they took it away for some reason because they're trying to stop him from exposing all the corruption that liberals do. And he just did another one. But anyway, so it's similar to the fraud. I mean, this guy's been doing stuff for years, but you know, the fraud in Minnesota, and now there's a bunch of daycare fraud in California, which we all knew. If it's happening in the country, it started in California. But this individual went to where homeless people hang out in California, and then you have people paying homeless people like $25, up to $25, maybe more, I don't know, but for them to sign a petition. And then when they ask, what's a petition? Oh, don't worry about it, just sign it. And then have them sign under different names. And then coaching them, like if somebody asks about it, just play stupid, this is what you do, blah blah blah. So if this stuff here in broad daylight is happening, what do you think is that's dude, like let that sink in for a minute, man. That's like the old school. So all the crap that you used to hear about people getting beaten up and taken in to vote, and then they take them out and they change their clothes and they have them go in to be someone else, like the shit they used to do back in the day. Supposedly that's how, like, you know, JFK was able to win. But I mean, it's you're like, oh, that's the stuff that used to happen back in the day. No, it's still happening. It's still happening. It's just, oh my, I don't know. It's insane how. I honestly believe that, man. I'm not saying that Republicans have never cheated and don't ever. I'm sure some Republican politician on probably I think a smaller scale that has cheated or whatever, but I think if there was no midterms and they had the voter ID down pat where you had to show, I don't think Democrats would ever win again. And it would change. It would change. Like they would have to drop the name, and it would have to, like for real. Like I don't know. Like it'd end up being like MAGA and Republican or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because how does it make sense to not have voter ID? Oh my gosh, because if your driver's license or you don't have it, it's like, yeah, shit happens. People change their names. And their name's different on the ID or whatever, this and that. Democrats are making up all these stupid excuses, but you know what? If it's important for you to go and vote, you will take the time and make the effort to get the voter ID. And those are the only people that should be voting. The people that work and care hard enough to get that ID, you deserve to vote. If you don't care, then you don't need to be voting. And that's the only way the Democrats win. That's the only way. And they sit there and talk about, when people were talking about the Biden, which Biden did not win. They cheated. There's evidence of it. But it's like, it's a moot. That's why they're, Republicans are trying to get the voter ID in the SAVE Act. But it's like people on the right talking about how the election was stolen, and then people on the left were like, oh, it's impossible. And now Trump won. Oh, Trump stole it. And I'm like, well, we thought you couldn't steal it. And it's like, well, okay, if Trump stole the election, then you should want voter ID more than anybody right now. But they don't. What does that tell you? Common sense. What does that tell you? They cheat. They lie. Because they know they'll never win again. They'll find a way eventually, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, Democrats are so fucking stupid. It's like, it's 24K out in the open. They're stupid. Right? But people still go along with it. Like, so you have these politicians and these people, whatever, spouting this shit. The most ridiculous, dumb, nonsensical crap. But who's dumber? These people spewing this or the people falling for it? Again, though, that's why Democrats are stupid. Man, I don't know. I mean, again, I can understand you want to be a Democrat, you're lifelong. You don't like, but like you can't ignore the stupidity. Like how can you think that having an ID to ensure American citizens can vote or do vote, you know what I mean? Like how does that makes absolutely no sense. But nothing the Democrats do or say makes any sense. I don't get it. Anyway, that's it. Just wanted to vent a little bit on how retarded the Democrats are and how retarded they're trying to make America. Keep America sane, yo. Don't let it become retarded like a Democrat. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate your time. God bless, and I'll see you next time. All right. Bye.
Say something for the podcast. Tell the people what you feel.